Following the Battle of Scarif, Grand Moff Tarkin and the Death Star traveled to the planet of Rvmuller, a planet home to a population of 45 million. Because the population had no means of interplanetary travel through hyperspace technology, they remained neutral in the Empire's conflict against the growing rebellion. This was unacceptable to Tarkin, and thus, the planet and its 45 million inhabitants were to be made an example of. Giving Admiral Mahdi the order to fire when ready, the Death Star gunners commenced their firing sequence. However, only seconds away from their first full use of the battle station's superweapon, the order to abort was given. As it's revealed in the Tarkin Age of Rebellion issue, this was only a simulation, and while the gunnery crew attempted to place blame for the failed simulation on the complexity of the battle station, Tarkin wouldn't accept such an explanation. And he wanted to see all 168 of the gunners for an immediate investigation into the failure. With every gunner before him, Tarkin would turn his attention to the battle station's chief gunner, Endo Frant, demanding he remove his helmet and roll back his sleeves. Although confused, Frant complied, not quite sure exactly what the Grand Moff was searching for, but too scared to decline the order. Tarkin then let it be known what it was he was looking for, noting Chief Gunner Frant had no scars. While the gunner attempted to show Tarkin a scar on his knee, obtained through a grab ball tournament while in university, the pathetic attempt only seemed to infuriate Tarkin more. Raising Frant's helmet, the Grand Moff sent it hard across the gunner's face, knocking him to the floor. But Tarkin wasn't anywhere close to finished. Given that Frant was taller and younger than him, Tarkin found the gunner's lack of scars unacceptable and challenged him to a fight, ordering that the chief gunner be provided with a vibroblade, and promising that if Frant was to survive the battle, Tarkin would allow him to continue his duties and be promoted to the rank of captain. Although Frant didn't wish to fight the Grand Moff, Tarkin would not accept his demands to opt out, noting that they currently, and at all times, were fighting for survival against the rebellion. In the same way, the gunner now had to fight Tarkin, whether he wanted to or not. Finally, Frant accepted, wielding his vibroblade against Tarkin's dagger. While the gunner initially held his own, Tarkin quickly gained the upper hand, successfully slashing at Frant's weapon arm. And before Frant could even beg for Tarkin to stop, the Grand Moff continued to assault the chief gunner. Only it's then revealed that Tarkin's challenge and the entire duel itself was all produced by the imagination of Tarkin, finding himself back in front of Frant, who was still trying to explain the pathetic scar on his knee. This time, however, Tarkin would use his words to assault not just Frant, but every gunner on the Death Star. Tarkin attempted to impress upon them that their duties upon the Death Star were of the greatest honor and importance for the Empire. Further, although they performed their duties at Jedha and Scarif, they failed when it came time to destroy an entire planet in the simulation. Tarkin then brought his point home. Their job was to fire when commanded to at any target in front of them, and if they didn't, the gunners would be decommissioned and sent to work within an Imperial labor colony. The issue then goes to the scene from A New Hope, with Tarkin making a demonstration of the Death Star's power in front of Princess Leia. While the gunnery crew had some hesitation, they ultimately fired when ordered and destroyed Alderaan. With Leia sent back to the battle station's detention level, Tarkin was far more interested in obtaining the mission report reaction data. And much to the nervousness of the superweapons gunners, Tarkin ominously requested that if the data detected any blue flags, the corresponding gunners were to be brought to him immediately. And this is exactly what happened, with 6 gunners taken to Tarkin in Bay 12. Here, Tarkin explained that since the failed simulation, he had Mahdi place bio-trackers in the helmets of every gunner on the battle station, and during the firing of the Death Star on Alderaan, each of the gunners present hesitated at some point of importance. At this, Chief Gunner Endo Frant attempted to save himself, not only noting that they destroyed Alderaan in the end as ordered, but that Alderaan had been the planet he was born on, turning the question back upon Tarkin. Only Frant received an answer he likely wasn't expecting. Tarkin wouldn't only destroy his homeworld of Eriadu, he would do so with pleasure. As no other gunner had anything to say in their defense, Tarkin concluded the Death Star wasn't the place for them. And as Tarkin left, the 6 failed gunners were locked within the bay's airlock and executed by being ejected into the vacuum of space, with the Grand Moff looking out upon their corpses before retreating to his private quarters. So there we have it, how Tarkin dealt with 6 Death Star gunners who failed at Alderaan. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me, for Uncle Jova.